Good afternoon. My name is John Sadowski. I'm the president of Metro Valley Advertising. We are an advertising and media agency. Thank you for joining me and welcome to Building a More Sustainable Lead Pipeline in 2023. How and where to market your personal injury law practice. So, a couple quick questions for you. First, how many of you would like to have more leads for your practice? Second, and more importantly, how many of you would like to have more clients? Well, the purpose of today's webinar is to teach you how to get more leads and how to get more clients. Before we do that, I want to go through a couple of quick agenda items. First, we're going to try to get through the presentation portion of this webinar in about 20 minutes so that we can have time for a quick Q&A when we're done. Love to hear your questions. Second, no one is going to be on screen and you will all be muted for the webinar because we are recording it, and that way we can make it available to you folks at a later date for reference. So that means you can go ahead and drink your coffee, eat your lunch. Don't worry about that dab of mayo on your chin. No one's going to see it. If you have any questions, please drop them in the Q&A. So today's webinar, we're going to work through, some of the things that we have learned over the last 20 years or so of being on the agency side of the advertising equation. Most of that work has been done with direct response, or what we now call lead gen clients. And most of those have been in the personal injury and mass tort field. So during that time, we have done ad campaigns in New York, in LA, in Chicago, 26 other markets around the country, and Puerto Rico. And we've used most major media platforms out there to try to help our clients grow. So in today's webinar, we're going to share a little bit of what we've learned in those 20 years when it comes to building a client pipeline for personal injury attorneys. So one of the things we'll explain in the sales funnel and how it's used to grow an audience, and then how to gain and nurture leads in the sales funnel, and finally, how to use it to acquire new business. So let's dive in. So what's the problem? Why are we here today? Well, from a marketing perspective, personal injury practices face two challenges. The first is to maintain a steady stream of quality leads so that there's a sustainable level of new clients. We all know that there are more potential claimants than actual clients that are out there. So the second problem and issue to face is then how do you build this lead pipeline and where? And really, it all starts with your marketing plan. The media landscape has changed over the years. We all know that. In the good old days, you could take out an ad in the yellow pages, sit back and wait for the phone to ring. Today, there are so many more media outlets and channels that it can be confusing. And there's more competition as well. So putting together a smart media plan, knowing where and how much money to allocate to each media is becoming more and more complicated. So when the question is asked, how do you acquire new business? The real question is, what does your sales funnel look like? So what is a sales funnel? It's essentially the marketing framework for how people learn about your business, how they become educated about your expertise, and then ultimately how they decide to retain your personal injury firm for their claim. So it really helps inform in your advertising budget allocation, the media you select, the tactics you use to move consumers through your pipeline. So the funnel is a visual that we use to depict the client journey. It's how we lead people from becoming prospects to becoming clients. It's not a chute. So what we load in the top is not, unfortunately, what we yield at the bottom. So one way to grow is to increase the number of leads that we put in the top of the funnel. When we're doing that, we really need to understand our funnel and know how many leads have to enter it to generate one new client. So another way to grow and gain more clients is to become more efficient with our funnel, to retain more prospects through the process. So obviously, if we drop fewer qualified leads, we nurture them through each phase, we're going to yield more clients when we're done. So the way to do that really is to create a smart multimedia marketing mix. Um, Being able to reach the prospect at different points along their decision-making journey and using that to keep them in the pipeline. We like to keep the sales funnel simple and we view it from three stages. So at the top is the awareness phase. And this is where prospects are introduced to your firm. They learn what you do and how you can be of value to them. So it's about brand awareness of your practice and your competitive differentiators. We know that brands and in our case, law firms that have a higher level of awareness tend to get chosen more. Second phase is engagement. This is where the lead is warming up to you and really becoming a prospect. They really want to know how you can solve their particular problem. We also refer to it as the content phase because this is where the consumer is going to retain and look for the most information. They really want to learn about your expertise and at the same time become comfortable with you. And in the conversion phase, the prospect takes an action that's of value to your firm. Usually that means either making a phone call to your office or filling out a form on your website or landing page. So, the sales funnel, again, it kind of guides how your advertising and marketing move consumers through the lead pipeline, and then obviously influences whether they convert. So a sales funnel can be all digital or it can be all traditional. The best funnels we find are a mix. So, a good multimedia campaign. The idea is for the media to complement one another so that your yield will be greater than the sum of the parts. People internalize messaging differently. Some are very visual, so they see what you mean. Others are very auditory and they hear you. So similarly, there are people out there that just consume digital media and others that, just consume traditional. We find that by and large, most consumers, take in some combination of the two. And it's really important to, consider all the way that your prospects learn. And again, that's why we prefer this mix of digital and traditional, because we're reaching people at different places and different spaces as they move through the client journey. And it also helps you appear to be a little larger than life, which is very, very valuable in that decision-making process. So as an example, you can use outdoor advertising, billboards as an example, as a great mass awareness tool. Then search marketing is great for driving engagement, getting people to your website as an example. And then retargeting, those ads that follow you around the internet, are great for reminding people of your advertising and bringing them back to engage with you again and convert. So you could use any one of them by itself, but together, again, those synergies help them work well together and become greater than the sum of the parts. I'm sure you're aware that there seem to be new media opportunities almost daily. And each one of them comes to you with their own special sauce. And while I'm being a little bit sarcastic, it is important to stay informed on, the new developments in the advertising world. We really don't know which one of these is going to become the next great thing. So we need to stay on top of it. We always tell our clients that, we're not attached to any one type of ad medium, but we don't jump on every new trend either. There's a lot of factors that go into consideration, like the geography of your firm, the service areas that you provide, your target audience, your budget. So all of those come together so that we can create this integrated campaign that's going to be most successful. Now, when we talk about the sales funnel, it's very easy to say this is purely a media planning guide. And while that's a big part of it, to not include and consider creative and messaging would be a critical mistake. So messaging's got to move people from where they're complete strangers to where they feel very comfortable as their representative in their personal injury claim. So, when we start in the awareness phase, you're really trying to begin to develop trust. Again, the prospect doesn't know you. So, your content's going to be a little more formal and a little more precise. You want to address the problem, explain why you're the best solution, and get across your competitive differentiators. When we move into the engagement phase, you can be more relaxed. You're going to want to frame things here in more layman's terms to show that you're relatable, but also an expert at solving their problem. This is something, where we really like to use things like explainer videos, blog posts, landing pages, that sort of thing. And then when we get to the conversion phase, the prospect is much more of an acquaintance. Some of them will even consider you their friend. So, it's about helping them make that buying decision. Your communication needs to be reassuring them that you're the right choice. So you're going to be a little shorter and to the point, more casual and direct. We like things like testimonials and case studies here. So let's talk about some of the media you can use as we try to move people through the sales funnel. So at the top in the awareness phase, I mentioned outdoor earlier. So billboards, transit signage, the signs and the signs of sides of buses, things like that, are really great awareness vehicles. The most important thing to remember about outdoor is to keep the message simple. They absolutely, positively must see and remember your firm name. We love search because it really demonstrates and shows intent. At this phase, the prospect doesn't know, you or any other agent or any other firm, excuse me. So it's really important here that your keywords focus on practice areas. With television, what's kind of interesting about TV and search as well is that it can be used throughout the funnel. You just have to use it differently from a tactical perspective. In the awareness phase, we like using TV to highlight your practice areas and brand differentiation. One of the great things about social media is that like outdoor, it's a relatively low cost per thousand media. So, again, highlight your practice areas and brand differentiation and use it to test. So you can try different copy, you can try different images, you can A/B test things. And if you have video, wonderful place to test that as well. Banner ads are kind of the outdoor advertising of the internet. So treat them the same. Keep the messaging simple and make sure that your brand name stands out. In the engagement phase, the website is probably your most critical tool. And here you want to be clear and concise. Keep the copy on the homepage minimal, but get into detail on your practice area pages. It's absolutely essential that your website be easy to navigate. That means it's easy whether you're on desktop, mobile, or tablet. Landing pages are a great alternative to your website. Make sure that you only use one landing page per practice area. You can go into detail here. You can include information about your victories, settlements, that sort of thing, possibly even a short testimonial. Make sure that your contact information is above the fold. We love video, and we love video because consumers love video. So when you use it here in the engagement phase, demonstrate your differentiators, display your expertise, be relatable. One practice area per video. So as I said, you can use search throughout the funnel. And in the engagement phase, it's a little more about long tail keywords. And what we mean by that is in the awareness phase, when somebody doesn't know you, you might use a term like personal injury attorney, or medical malpractice attorney. So when we get down to the engagement phase, it might be birth injury, medical malpractice attorney near me. So much more detailed because the prospect has a better idea of what they're really looking for. I mentioned retargeting earlier, those ads that follow you around the internet. I know that they're annoying to some people, but they're also highly successful at getting people to come back and engage with your media again. So, and when we move into conversion, one of the things that we really want to remember is every conversion tactic has to have a clear call to action. So when we use television in this phase, we want to focus on your successes. Use testimonials, again, clear CTA. With social media, provide a reason to call. As I mentioned earlier, you can continue to test different conversion copy here, images, video, give people a reason to call, and use case studies and testimonials. Video here is similar to TV. You want to focus on your successes, use testimonials, and again, that clear call to action. Now, search advertising in the conversion phase is more about branding terms, because now they've already engaged with and they know who you are. So the thing that drives the most reaction at this level are terms that are revolving around your firm name and potentially even around some of your attorneys' names. And retargeting here, we're bringing people back to landing pages and other places that are very easy to convert, and they got to be easy to convert. So you might think, hey, we put together the perfect media sales funnel, we're done. Well, we're never done. And that's part of lead generation advertising. We really always want to be looking for ways to make it better. The purpose of our funnel is to facilitate your conversion rate. So again, now we really have to understand how your funnel operates, being able to quantify numbers as people move through. So we said earlier, there are two ways to grow the number of clients. One is to add more leads at the top. The other is to reduce prospect loss, be more efficient as we move people through. So, we need to continually monitoring these things to see, which of those tactics is bringing in the most leads, how people engage with your different tactics at that stage, and where they drop out and where they continue on. In order to do that, we need good attribution software. So we always recommend Google Analytics to our clients because it is a robust platform and it is free. And so we can use that to really follow the client journey, look at how we're doing for prospect generation, look at how we're doing for bounces and people dropping out of the funnel all the way through to when they become a client. We're also high proponents of having a CRM. If you don't know what that is, that's customer relationship management software. It's the database in which you store your prospects and clients. And it tells you where your prospects came from and which of those prospects became clients, so we can backtrack and replicate that process more easily. We're also big fans of call tracking software. Because phone calls are so critical to your business, it's really great to have a platform that identifies the platforms generating those phone calls. A good call tracking software will even identify the keywords that drove the call. So very, very granular data, very, very valuable in making those small improvements, which can really lead to large growth opportunities for your firm. We're always measuring, we're always tweaking. So again, you're going to be looking at the number of leads entering the pipeline. Usually the first place that they go is the website or landing pages. So how do people react to those? Do they look for more information or do they bounce? The other engagement tactics that you have are people watching your videos, as an example. And then conversion actions. Which one of your conversion tactics is driving the best results for you? And finally, where are most of your new clients coming from? So with that, I am going to open the floor to more questions.